And welcome into the Monday edition, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Super Bowl week here this week as the Patriots and the Seahawks get set for battle. Joe Rexrode, good morning. How are you? What's going on?
I'm good. Yeah. I gotta say, I know that this is like what we're used to for the most part. Most of my life, the Super Bowls had that 2 week. Every once in a while, I have the 1 week. But I maybe it's because I may complain about the college thing, but it's like, why can't we just do the Super Bowl the next week after the championship games?
That's a good question.
Is it really that big of a deal? I understand people have time now to get Radio Row going. Is it because of that? So people can get Radio Row going and they don't have to rush out there? I don't know.
I don't know.
It seems like a little bit much, doesn't it?
Got to get them rested up. Ready to go.
Yeah.
What's your best foot forward for the Super Bowl?
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Well,
never mind the fact the Seahawks just rested up for a week, like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. They've had a lot of rest, haven't they?
Yeah. Probably going to be okay.
Yeah. I think so.
But I don't know when, I don't remember when New England's bye week was. It could have been a long time since Vrabel and them had some rest. I have no idea.
It was late in the season.
Okay. Well, there you go. It hadn't been that long.
Hey, they didn't have a bye. They only the 1 seeds get byes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So just so you guys know,
I've never heard that before.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you, Ian. Idle
don't reward his.
No, Ian.
His ridiculous.
Join me.
Ian, how we doing? What's going on?
Good morning, guys. Just fine, thanks. It's a good weekend. It's cold, so didn't get out much. Kind of trapped inside everybody all week. But hope everybody's staying safe and warm. Roads are looking pretty solid out there. But yeah, happy Monday.
Yeah, I hope the kids get an education somewhere along the way, because it's how many days in a row no school is this?
6, right?
This is 6.
Yeah.
They didn't have that last Friday. They didn't have the Friday. Okay. For some reason in my mind, I thought like they had the Friday too. So
No.
Okay, so 6 in a row.
I think 6 in a row.
Maybe this will be it.
Well, it's gonna be like
see.
40 today, isn't it?
Yeah.
How much melting is that gonna do? I mean, look, my driveway is still the exact same as it was. It's actually worse. Like it's refrozen a few times. It's some other snow on top of it. My driveway now is worse than it's been the whole time. But I got out of there. It was fine.
Yeah, that's the problem. The part of mine is too, like the middle part is like pure. It's like the most horrible hard ice now.
Yeah.
Yeah, where you don't get sun. I have a
Yeah.
spot in ours.
Yeah.
Also in the corner, kind of
Right.
doesn't get any sun.
And
It's pretty iced over still.
Well, I could get out there and I guess do something about it, but first off, it's long and I don't want to do that. And secondly, it's gravel. So it's not, it's a little bit different than just your normal driveway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, I know that there are roads out there still. They're like trees are covering them and stuff like that. So, yeah. So hopefully it gets better. I think this week, at some point this week, we're gonna emerge out of this, right?
I've seen some stuff on social media, and I don't know if it's real or not. So maybe it's not. But these long-term weather model forecasts that are like, hey, you watch out. 3 weeks from now, we could get another snowstorm. So we'll see.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea how real that is.
Oh gosh.
I mean, I've seen plenty of weather forecasts that 6 days out don't turn out to be what it is. So
yeah, exactly.
I'm highly skeptical of the 3 weeks out weather forecast.
Yeah. I wish you didn't even mention it though.
Sorry,
because now I'm worried.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
We got a lot going on the show today. We'll have Corey Curtis from News 2 for his weekly visit coming up at 8:00. We will get into Titans fans, your number one target this offseason, either via free agency or the NFL draft. And which team has the most potential for a deep run in the NCAA tournament? Is it Vanderbilt? Is it Tennessee? We got a lot to get into on the program today, so looking forward to all that. But, Joe, let's start. It is Super Bowl week. Seahawks, a 4.5-point favorite in the matchup against the Patriots. We will obviously have time to get into this throughout the week. The final edition of the season of Pigskin Pick'em coming up on Friday, so looking forward to that. But, Joe, your initial impressions of the matchup between the Seahawks and the Patriots and how you feel about this one heading into Super Bowl week.
Well, I hope we have a great game. That's like my number one thing, Again, you have to be of a certain age, but if you were old enough to watch Super Bowls in the 1980s, you cherished any game that was remotely competitive, and I still have that. So that's always my number one thing in the Super Bowl. Are we going to get a good game? I think we have a chance to get a good game. I also think we have a chance for Seattle to roll, because I just think Seattle is clearly the better team. If Seattle does roll, then you also look at like what's the impact either way. If this team wins or this team wins, like if Seattle wins, then obviously Sam Darnold turns into one of the really great reclamation stories we've seen in the league. I mean, we already got Justin Jefferson out there saying, yeah, we would have been better this year with him. Not that he's like that's even like a controversial statement. I mean, anybody would agree, but it's like, oh man, that's tough for
Yeah, we probably screwed up letting Sam Darnold go.
Jefferson to say that on the record. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll be damage control. I'm not trying to rip JJ, but I mean, come on, it's a big deal. And so that's, to me, that's what that is if they win, and I think they'll win. If the Patriots pull off the upset, and I think it is more than a 4.5 point, like in my mind, I think the gap between these teams, the Seahawks are a pretty complete team, honestly. If the Patriots win, obviously Vrabel then, and then we're talking like, is this, are we embarking on another dynastic run here from the New England Patriots with former player now coaching, and I mean, I don't think that anybody's gonna make any Tom Brady comparisons to Drake May anytime soon, but I think certainly Drake May as a great quarterback in the next decade plus that's on the table regardless.
Sure.
But if they get one now, man, if you hated the Patriots before, you may not hate him as much moving forward because, Belichick is a different level of Darth Vader than Vrabel is, but still, you might be talking about a lot of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Seattle is better than New England is. I will say, though, like New England's defense throughout the playoffs has just been really good.
Sure.
Like it's been really, really good. And I know that in the AFC title game, there was a blizzard and they were taking on Jarrett Stidham. So, like, that part of it is what it is, but they look pretty good against Justin Herbert, right? I mean, they're a legit defense. So I think I'm interested to see how that matchup goes. Can they come close to, we've seen Vrabel do this, and I wonder in the Super Bowl if he can somewhat, I don't know if it's possible with the way this guy's playing to totally shut him down, but can you find a way to limit the effectiveness of Jackson Smith and Jigba, right? I don't know. We're gonna see whether or not the Patriots are able to do that. The problem with him is, I mean, you can line him up anywhere, and like you said last week, there's some plays in the NFC title game where that he's occupying the attention of the Rams, and you look around, it's like, wow, there's no one within 15 yards of Jackson Smith and Jigba running around out there. How does that happen? Well, it's because he's really good, and because what they do is really good. So that part of it's going to be really interesting. The problem is Seattle's defense is also very good.
Yeah.
That's the problem for New England heading into this one. So, my gut tells me that Seattle's probably going to win. I'm thinking right around a touchdown is probably where I'd put it right now. But, the Patriots have been a great story. I mean, I don't think this is some David versus Goliath matchup heading into it. I think Seattle's the better team. I don't think that this is like, some college football spread or anything like that.
No. Yeah, I mean, the Patriots are real good on D, and again, Drake May this is when legends are made. I mean, Drake May makes winning plays. He looks like a young quarterback at times too, and makes some decisions that are like, ooh, man. Sometimes he pays for them, sometimes he doesn't. But I mean, if he comes with a really good performance in this game, then absolutely. I mean, he's going to have to. To me, for them to win. But yeah, I mean, it's got a chance to be a really good game, and that's it. JSN is he'll crush anybody in man coverage. He just has he will find the hole in zone coverage, and some of this. I mean, the Rams a couple times that game, like I don't know how they lost track of him to the extent that they did, but that's certainly. I'm sure something Vrabel's talked about a lot in the last couple of weeks, or last week plus, with another week to wait.
Yeah, find this guy. Make sure you don't lose him. That'd be my coaching point.
Where's Waldo thing?
Yeah, make sure you know where this guy is.
Yeah.
615-737-1025. Our phone number, 615-737-1025. Like we said, lots to get into in the program today. Titans fans, you have one name, that you can identify this offseason, whether it's via draft, via free agency, that you can target and that the Titans can lock down. What name is that? Who are you choosing? We'll get into that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Well, the Titans have a head coach. They have an offensive coordinator, and we'll see how the rest of the coaching staff shakes out here. But, Joe, right around the corner, free agency will begin in the NFL. The draft, not too far behind that, even though I'm sure by the time we get to the draft, we'll be like, ooh, boy, let's get this thing over with, like we are every year.
Yeah, think so.
I think so. We'll see what happens.
At least it's okay to talk about it now.
It's
okay to talk about it.
It is.
So that's good.
So, Titans fans, I'm curious. Like, if you could pick one target to acquire this offseason, either via free agency or via the draft, who would that be? We've already got a vote for Ruben Bain on the YouTube chat, no matter what. You make sure it's Ruben Bain is the number one guy. It was interesting. I was looking last week, ESPN.com came out with like their top 50 players that are available in free agency, and Matt Bowen put this list together. And it's interesting because there are a lot of guys that are on this top 50 list that intrigue me if I'm a Titans fan. There are two guys at the top of the list that intrigue me, but also I think have a lot of baggage heading into this. I mean, they're number one and number two players on the list. Number one is Trey Hendrickson from Cincinnati.
Yep.
Number two is George Pickens from Dallas. Both those guys are very intriguing, right? Like Trey Hendrickson, when he's been healthy, has been one of the most dominant pass rushers in the league. I mean, he had 17 and a half sacks 2 years ago, 65 pressures. And if you're getting that, it's like, well, yeah, I'd love that. The other part of it is he's 31. He'll be 32 next December, and he's coming off an injury this year. So, there's been the back and forth between him and the Bengals, and obviously they've not been able to come to, a long-term deal at this point. Are you comfortable being the team that pays what I would assume is going to be a significant amount of money for him at 31 heading into 32 years old? And then the other part of that is Pickens, who I think has got a lot of talent. He's 25, like age-wise, it fits in really nicely. But I don't know. Like George Pickens was a bit of a basket case at the end there in Pittsburgh. And then, it seemed to be okay in Dallas, but when he gets his next deal, what's that going to look like? So it's interesting. Like the top two names they have on their list are very intriguing, but you could also see where either one of them could cause problems for different reasons.
Yeah, to me, Hendrickson he's destined to be the guy signed by the right in the midst of a window contender who says, give me one great year, give me 2 great years. We'll give you a 4-year deal. We can get out after 2. And that year or 2, we're that close. You might put us over the top. That's not the Titans. So I just as much as they need help there, to me, that's just not how you do it. You don't go get that guy who's hurt, who's about to be 32. You want to add veterans, you want to add free agents, but like that's going to be a huge chunk of money. And to me, it just doesn't make sense for this franchise. Pickens is really interesting because I think he's really talented, and I also think that, like, if you got him in the right situation, he's also a guy who brings, he can bring energy and excitement to a team. Like, he's so talented, but he's got to be in a really strong locker room, and ideally with a really strong quarterback leader too. I think Cam Ward, of all the things about Cam Ward that I think are definitely trended in of all the things you want in your quarterback, I think the leadership piece is pretty strong with him, but he's still only a second-year guy who hasn't really established himself as a top guy at the position. So I don't know. That one, like I'm not immediately dismissing, but obviously there's a lot of buyer beware there.
Yeah, I'm not he had by far the best year of his career this year. He had 93 catches for 1,429 yards and 9 touchdowns. I mean, that's legit number one wide receiver type stuff from George Pickens there. So, at his age, you're looking at it and, seemingly it was his age 24 season that he just completed. He'll be 25 coming up in March. So from an age standpoint, it's right in line of kind of what you want that feels like he's turning the corner there. Is that what he's going to be moving forward? Because if so, then I'd have a lot of interest in that if I'm the Titans, and you're hoping that you have a strong enough leadership group, a strong enough leader at head coach, front office, all these things where you can handle that, right? But the question is that what he's going to be as they move forward? I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is, but 93 catches for 1,429 yards don't just grow on trees out there in free agency most years.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's gonna be really interesting with him. There's gonna be a lot of interest, but there's gonna be some teams that are like, nope, forget that, I'm out, and there's gonna be I think a lot of teams that are like, man, is there any chance he matures? How can we make this work? Because after him, you're looking at like Alec Pierce. I think is definitely an attractive possibility. Like it looks like Mike Evans is going to be out there.
Mm-hmm. Dobbs probably going to be out there.
So some good possibilities. I mean, any of those guys. Mike Evans, he's been hurt a lot too. Man, he's been around a long time. He's 33. He's still I don't know. The problem with Mike Evans, it seems to totally fit it's like such a classic Titans thing, right? Get that guy, and it's like, oh yeah, actually,
yeah,
he just kind of went over the hill, and now he's over it, and you've got him, and it doesn't help you that much. But I don't know. He might still have another good, really, really good year or two. But Dobbs, your guy Dobbs.
I'll throw another one at you. And again, How many of these guys by the time it's the same question I threw out there last week? How many of these guys by the time free agency actually gets here are going to be available?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, some of these guys for sure will be locked up before
They
then.
could be tagged.
Yeah.
They could be signed.
But I mean, right now it is what it is. Right now they're scheduled to be a free agent. I mean, Juwan Jennings is on that list. And now there's obviously a lot of people trying to make that connection because he's from here. But I mean, he's not a number one guy. He did just have 9 touchdowns this year, 55 catches, 643 yards, 9 touchdowns for Juwan Jennings.
Yeah. I think Juwan Jennings would be good at, you wonder if Juwan Jennings, like, is he, what's he happy with contract wise? I mean, obviously he had to not carry them, but he had to do a lot, for them this year, with other guys out. I still think that he's like, he's a 2-3 guy.
I would agree.
That's what he is,
Yeah.
but a really good one, and also a guy who brings a lot of juice.
Throw some passes if you need him to.
That's true.
Did it in the playoffs.
That's true. Hey, former great high school quarterback here. So I don't hate that either. On the edge side, I'm seeing people, Jalen Phillips. It's those two positions. I mean, I agree. Like, as it Cam said, Jalen Phillips. I mean, I think that he's a guy who could help a lot. There's also Chason is out there potentially. You've got I see like Mac is a guy that like that's another. Mac's got the 1-year contract type guy out there, 35. Good for him, but again, that to me is not what you're looking for. What about Owe from the Chargers? There's a guy, he's only 27. I mean, they should be in. Whoever is actually going to be out there, a lot of these names, they should absolutely be trying to get in there and see if they can score one of these, because these are the top guys we're talking about right here.
Yeah, well, and that's free agency, and we've already got people, voting for some people in the draft. Like David in Arkansas says, Jeremiah Love. Like, our offense needs some help. Run game would help Cam Ward a lot, as we saw toward the end of the year. That would open up the young receivers who have showed some promise this year. There's been some Jeremiah Love. We got a couple votes for Reuben Bain. Somebody doesn't love Reuben Bain as much as other people. David Bailey getting a vote from Kyle from Shelbyville.
I'm with you.
Love.
I'm with you, Kyle.
I like Bailey too.
I like Bailey. I like Bain a lot. I would happily take Bain on my football team. I think David Bailey is going to be. If I had to, buy stock in one of them, I would buy it in Bailey. I think he's going to be a monster in the NFL.
I think he is too, and I would be happy with that if that's the way the Titans went. It's interesting to me because I feel like, Joe, if we asked this same question, I don't know, a month ago, 6 weeks ago, we'd be getting a lot of Carnell Tate. I mean, people were all over Carnell Tate. And then you saw the playoff game, and I was like, it's how good is he? I don't know. And how much of it has to do with, he's out there and he's playing on Ohio State and he's playing next to Jeremiah Smith.
I don't
know.
Your latest mock from your boy Nick Baumgartner, friend of the show, had Tate for.
Yeah. To me, you're
going to see a lot of that, I think.
To me, it's a need reach if they do that, because I don't think he's a top 5 player. Now, he's a first round player for sure. But to me, if you're giving up because you so badly need a receiver, I think that's a mistake. And again, I think that's how teams get in trouble. So we'll see. I mean, maybe, we'll see it. We go through the process. We'll see the testing and all that stuff. He's really good. Like, I don't have much to nitpick with him, other than I just don't think he's a top 5 player to be drafted. And I think there are other guys who at other positions, including at edge, who are.
Well, I mean, this is part of what makes the Pickens thing so interesting, because if you're not, first off, if he makes it there, like if Dallas isn't able to come to a deal with him and he makes it to free agency, like I said, 93 catches for 1,429 yards doesn't grow on trees. I know that there's some concerns with George Pickens, but if you got him and you felt good about that being your number one guy, then you're going that route via free agency to get him. By the time the draft comes around, you've already got him in the fold. And then that makes I would think that makes your strategy at the draft a little bit more focused on probably the defensive side of the ball.
I agree. Except, again, like, even if you actually believe he's a top 5, you could use that guy too. Right?
Talking about Tate?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Like even if you went and signed someone, I mean, load up. But
they need plenty of receiver help,
yeah,
not just one.
As far as Love, I mean, I love Jeremiah Love.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. But I just don't see how it works out. I don't see how it works out. He's gonna go probably like mid-first round. I think it's a reach to take him there. Yeah, look, if you think he's gonna be like a top 3 running back in the league, a great player, well, okay. I mean, then do it. But I just, again, if you're trying to do, it's hard for me to believe that he's gonna a guy who should go in the top 5. Yeah, I'm not against drafting the running back at all. It's just, there are a lot of tackles too. I know people don't want to hear that, but there's a lot of offensive tackles in this draft that, I mean, you do still need one. You really do.
I saw my draft last week that had the Titans taking an offensive tackle.
Which one?
I don't remember which one it was. I need to go back and find
There's
it.
so many.
Daniel Jeremiah was the tackle from Miami.
Yeah, Miami.
Okay.
Yeah. We're already in my draft season.
People would not be happy with that, but I swear, man, like it may not be if that's the top player on your board. Yes,
I would not be happy with that.
It's not exciting. But then Mandor, you have one year left, and then we're unhinging you.
Well, that's well, you got the Mandor for one more year. Just settle in, get that thing ready to go.
Yeah,
he was fine at the end of the year.
What if you're passing up a great player, a player that's is going to be someone's great 10-year left tackle?
Well,
because you have Mandor for another year, don't do it.
Well, you eventually need somebody to catch the ball. That would be my advice, or rush the passer.
You need a lot.
You need a lot of things. 615-737-1025, our phone number. You can pick one target for the Titans, either via free agency or the draft, to land this offseason. Who would that be? More of your thoughts on that next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
Robert, you've talked a lot about, just how important, well, you've emphasized multiple times just how important it is going to be to have like the right people in the building. But like a lot of people say that when they come in as coaches and whatnot. So what is it about your process that gives you confidence that you can actually bring in the people to set the correct tone for the culture in the building?
No, that's a great question. I think it takes a tremendous amount of discipline. Like I don't want to speak for Borgo, but I can speak on my history and how enamored we can get with tremendous length and speed and all the things that we think can make an unbelievable athlete. But at the same time, there's a discipline to making sure that the right people are in the building first before we go anywhere else. And we've had a history of it. I can, in terms of bringing in the right guys and developing the right people. But like I said, I feel like our history kind of speaks for itself with regards to the development of these young guys.
That was Robert Saleh last week discussing the culture that he wants to establish here in Tennessee. Taking your thoughts right now, 615-737-1025. You can pick one name that the Titans land this offseason. One target for the Titans, either free agency or in the draft. Who would it be? We got a nice mix of draft and free agency targets right now, which I'm proud of our listeners for. I was scared it would go all draft. It's not. A lot of free agency picks in here too.
That's good. Nice. Yeah, we got some Ayuk and Debo. Everybody wishing it was 2022 again.
Yeah, I may really hold off on the Ayuk part of that for sure.
That thought did cross my mind, how some of these teams are able to land top wide receivers in situations like that, whether it's A.J. Brown or Stephon Diggs or Pickens in Dallas, even though it was just for the year. I don't know. The clip we just played with the whole culture might not be the right timing with Ayuk, but I do wonder if there's a situation like that out there.
Yeah. I mean, that part of it's, people are asking about Ridley too. Like if you go get one of these guys in free agency, but be it a Pickens, an Alec Pierce, whoever, one of those bigger name wide receivers in free agency, does it automatically mean that Ridley is gone? I would assume so, but I don't know that. I mean, I guess there's a world, Joe, where you could go sign somebody in free agency and then keep Calvin Ridley around for another year and then reevaluate. I've just kind of assumed, given how it's gone here with him, that he's probably headed out the door here, but we'll see.
Yeah. It's funny because if he were like one of the free agent targets, we'd probably be talking about him.
We would.
Titans, Now, obviously staying healthy is a big thing there. So I don't know what the market for him is. And I don't know if the Titans are like, yeah, time to move on, or you keep an open mind on that. But I would guess the same thing. He's out, somebody else is in. And yeah, can they get, do they go after some of these big ticket guys? And then it gets into, can you get them?
Right.
How many of them actually end up being available? And then now you're in a very competitive situation with a whole bunch of other teams. Can you win any of those situations?
Well, and then at running back, we've had a couple people bring up Jeremiah Love. I think probably the more likely route that the Titans are going to go via running back is in free agency. So who's that going to be? I mean, Breece Hall is the name that I think immediately comes to mind for Titans fans. He has been coached by Robert Saleh before. Is that good? Is that bad? Do they like each other? I have no idea what that looks like there, but he's, I think, certainly going to be an option. And frankly, with where the Jets are right now, I'm going to doubt that they're going to pay him, right? Like I bet he probably makes it to free agency.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. A lot of that, it comes down to like what you were asking there with Saleh.
Yeah.
Did he love playing for him, even though it didn't go well there? If so, that could be possible.
But Etienne is out there. Travis Etienne is scheduled to be a free agent. And I mentioned to you off the air in the break, I mean, there's Javonte Williams, who was with the Cowboys this past year. There's Rico Dowdle that's scheduled to be out there at the moment. I mean, they should have some options at the running back position.
I'm assuming Seattle's not letting Kenneth Walker go, especially after what he's been doing here.
I'm going to assume not.
On the way to the Super Bowl. So, but technically he's up. There's that. And then there's also mid-round.
Sure.
Possibly getting it back too. I think it would be great if they could get one of these guys who is proven, who isn't all that old. Javonte Williams, 26. How old is Dowdle? Dowdle's, these guys are, if you can get one of these guys he's 28, you get one of these guys like Gainwell. To me, he was a really heck of a pass catcher for the Steelers.
Yep.
I don't know that that's really what you're looking for, but you can get one of those and then not have to get a back in the draft. Open mind. Maybe it comes up, top guy on your board at some point. Great. I think it'd be probably better to go that way.
By the way, I mentioned the ESPN putting their top 50 free agents out there. At number 17 on the list, Malik Willis. Let me read you the read up here the write up that they've done here. It says what he brings with his dual threat traits and positive signs of development in Green Bay. Willis, one of the top quarterbacks in free agency. In 4 appearances, 1 start this season, Willis completed 85.7% of his throws, rushed for 123 yards, and scored 4 touchdowns. He'll be signed to start somewhere this March. Starting quarterback.
Pretty wild. Is that true? I don't know that that's necessarily true. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that last statement, but what a statement,
I think I know where he's going to start. I think he's going to be the starting quarterback of the Miami Dolphins next year. That's where I think he's going to end up.
I'm
With
here
Halfley,
for it.
huh?
Halfley, John Eric Sullivan is GM. I think that's where he's going to be.
Well, and the thing is, if that's the case, I think that even speaks better of him because obviously we all saw what he did in some of these games, but it's still a pretty limited sample size. If those guys, after being around, like daily, believe it, then hey,
Arizona might need a quarterback.
They might.
Monty Ossenfort was here.
It's true.
he was. That's right.
There's another LaFleur.
He was here when Malik Willis was like, "Is this guy a QB3 in the league?"
Yeah. I mean,
But,
Willis has already worked with one LaFleur. Now you can go out there and work with the other one in Arizona now.
There you go. Do you see who's 39 on this list?
No.
Chig.
Okay.
Chig, number 39.
I mean, Chig did give basically like a farewell to Nashville tweet at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was supposed to be taken that way, but that's how a lot of people took it.
That's how I took it.
Yeah.
It's been great, guys.
It's been great.
Deuces.
Guys. Really enjoyed it around
I'm
here.
going to go to Belgium, Antarctica,
Yeah.
and then I'll be back and play for another
To
team.
make my free agency decision live from the North Pole. I'll tell you a name that I haven't seen anybody bring up yet that I've been thinking about basically ever since they played the Titans here a few weeks ago, and that is Alontae Taylor. I mean, we know that they need some help at corner. They're going to have to do a lot of work at corner. Alontae Taylor, we'll see if he actually gets away from New Orleans. But if he does and he gets out there, at age 27 heading into next year, that would be somebody that would be of high interest to me if I'm the Tennessee Titans.
Well, it's kind of crazy that we've gone this long talking about this stuff and not gotten into corner. We don't expect them to draft any corners high in the draft, right? They have no corners.
They're going to have to do something in free agency.
They have to. They're going to have to sign multiple guys at corner in free agency. But yes, can they go get a guy like that to be their number one corner? I'm here for it. Reek Woolen. I don't think there's any way Seattle's letting him go, right?
I would be surprised. And look, I don't know that Alontae Taylor's going to get out there, but that's the problem when you're talking about corner. Like if you're really good, you got a hard time making it to free agency.
Right. Yeah. So they may be left with plan B guys. I mean, is Newsome going to get out there? I don't know. You got Nashawn Wright from the Bears. I mean, you got a lot of guys who could get out there. They've got to do serious work there. Because again, like I have no idea what they're going to do in the draft, but it surprised me if they use anything terribly valuable in that position. And they have, I mean, again, this is, I think, the easiest, other than the second round pick. And we're going to see what happens with him, Oladejo. But other than that, I mean, the easiest thing to nitpick here with Borgonzi is the dispatching of corners, young corners.
What do we make of this report from Paul Kuharski about the nickel cornerback coach?
It's interesting.
Perhaps in an elevated role in the nickel position on the defense here.
Yeah.
So
who
it's a
is
huge position in the NFL these days.
I'm not sure who that would be right now.
I don't know.
I wonder if that's somewhere, if they look somewhere, for that. I don't exactly know.
Right now,
how
they don't really
address
have
that,
one,
but
right? Like not a starting level one. So
No.
that's what I'm saying. They're going to have to find
McCreary was, but
3
he's
at
gone.
least.
Yeah.
3 at least they're going to have to find this
Yeah.
offseason.
Yeah. So add it to the list.
Ethan from Lawrenceburg says, I want to keep Ridley and sign Dobbs or Pierce. I mean, that would be interesting. Like if you kept Ridley and you signed an Alec Pierce or a Romeo Dobbs, because neither one of those guys are number one wide receivers. Like Romeo Dobbs is probably a pretty good number two, and Alec Pierce is, I mean, I guess you would describe him the same way, a pretty good number two. He's more of like the deep threat type of guy, but neither one of those guys are number one wide receivers. I think we know at this stage Ridley's not a number one wide receiver either. So you would, I mean, your receiving core, assuming that Ridley would stay healthy, which is a big assumption, would be, I mean, it'd be better if you had both those guys in there, but you still need to go find, regardless of what you do, unless it's signing George Pickens and he just works out here and he behaves himself and all those things, like you still at some point are going to have to find that young number one wide receiver that they have struggled to find since AJ.
100%. Now, if you plan on stinking this year, then come on back for the 2027 draft, and you're going to find yourself some excellent possibilities.
I would imagine that's going to be a big problem if they stink to the level where we're talking about getting one of those guys next year.
Yeah, if they're
they're in the running for Jeremiah Smith next year.
I was going to say,
it's probably not going to be good news for people involved here.
If they're Helamaya, what runs with Jeremiah? Whatever for Jeremiah, then yeah, it's a problem.
It's probably not good
because he
might go number one.
He might go number one overall. I don't care what quarter. I mean, it might be like him and Arch going at it.
Could be
number one overall next year.
I saw. I think it was your publication. You may have been part of this at The Athletic that was predicting next year's Heisman winner. I think those were the top two.
Yeah, well,
Jeremiah Smith and Arch Manning.
Well, by the way, that's 2 years in a row for that thing that I voted for Jeremiah Smith. So last year I said Jeremiah Smith will win the Heisman this year, and this year I'm saying Jeremiah Smith will win the Heisman next year. So we'll see. But he's pretty good, man. He's the best player. Doesn't mean he'll win the Heisman, but yeah, he's the best player. So, but there are other. I mean, I think it's a good receiver draft otherwise. But yeah, like you need to right away have better people for your quarterback to throw to.
I would agree.
In 2026.
A lot of different thoughts on this. We will get back into this a little bit later in the show. The number one target for the Titans to identify this offseason, either via free agency or the draft. We will get back into that coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. I got a question to throw out there coming up next to Rexrode and to all of you. Who has the most potential for a deep run in the NCAA tournament this year? Is it Vanderbilt or is it Tennessee? We will get into that next. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Corey Curtis from News 2 will be with us at 8 o'clock for his weekly visit. Joe Vanderbilt gets the win over the weekend against Ole Miss, 71-68 the final score. They improved to 19-3 overall. They are 6-3 in the SEC, number 18 in the country. Tennessee wins against Auburn. Tennessee has won 4 out of their last 5, and the one they lost in that stretch, they basically totally screwed up against Kentucky at home. So playing better basketball, winning some games, and feeling good about, I guess, at the moment, where both of these teams are right now. Now, Vanderbilt, obviously, is higher ranked. They are having a great start to their season. Mark Bynes is doing an outstanding job. Tennessee, some talent there. Nate Ament starting to come into the fold a little bit. He had 22 against Auburn. Now, basically a free throw merchant game for him. I think he was 4 of 16 from the field, but he's playing better, and you could see it with Nate Ament, where you're like, he looks like he's starting to turn into maybe what they thought he was going to be when they brought him in as the true freshman. And I know some Tennessee fans were upset with the way he was playing earlier this year, but I think you're starting to see him play better. So my question is this. You're looking at Vanderbilt, the great start to the season that they've had. They're obviously pretty legit. And we talked last week about them having a legitimate chance to win the SEC this year with how things are shaking out here. Tennessee, I still think there's a lot of talent there, a lot of ability there. And, how funny would it be if this team, who's probably going to end up being less accomplished in the regular season than what we've seen over the last few years under Rick Barnes, if this was the team that found their way into the Final Four. So, Joe, our noted college basketball expert, one of the biggest college basketball experts in all of the country. He's got his own bracket.
World.
He's got his own formula.
Universe.
I ask you, who has the most potential in your mind for a deep run in the NCAA tournament this year? Is it Vanderbilt or is it Tennessee?
I'll give Vanderbilt a slight edge, although I still, definitely worry about them inside. And it's slight because, like you said, Ament is coming on. I know you really want to know where I have these teams seed. I'll give you a little preview of the bracket tomorrow because I am doing my seed list. Vanderbilt's my number 14 overall seed, Tennessee 18. So
pretty close.
Pretty close. But Vanderbilt also, remember, Duke Miles is out. He had a minor knee surgery. They survived it. The other day they're kind of messing around a little bit. Ole Miss should be better than they are, by the way. With they bring in AJ Storr and they still have Malik Dia. But anyway, they're having a disappointing season. They almost stole one at Vanderbilt, but they also have had Frankie Collins out. He is, I guess, about to come back. We know Duke Miles is a little bit away. This part of their schedule, they might be able to be okay. They're off this week and they play Oklahoma. Tennessee gets that return trip, by the way, to Kentucky next week. But to your larger, bigger picture question, I think both of them could make a run. Again, so that right now I have Vanderbilt as a 4 seed and Tennessee as a 5 seed. Both of them could end up being top 4 seeds. There's tons of opportunity for both of them ahead. Tennessee, I don't know that Tennessee is going to be, well, I do know they're not going to be. They're not going to be the elite defensive team that they have been, but they're still, in Ken Pom, which is a predictive metric, which is basically just, it's your efficiency on both sides of the ball. Tennessee's still 14th best defense in the country. Very good. It's just that we're used to them being like up there 1-2, like them in Houston, and that's not going to be that. But Jacoby, Gillespie, you have to. The guy is a really good player. He makes a lot of things happen. I think Boswell is really coming on too as a freshman, and you're seeing some good stuff from Estrella inside. They have the makings. If Ament is going to more and more assert himself and be like, whenever, like, he's not going to be like Dalton Connect, who would just put on the deck or he would hit a 25-foot in your face, but he can hit the 25-foot in your face, and he isn't overpowering anybody, but with his length, he can basically get to a spot and get a shot off or get fouled a lot, which he did the other night. Vanderbilt doesn't have that, but when Vanderbilt has Tyler Tanner and Duke Miles together, when they're going, they are a very tough team to stop. And they're, they're top 20 in both defense and offensive efficiency. Tennessee at 40th offensively.
Yep.
It's kind of the thing with the Rick Barnes team. Ultimately, I think Vanderbilt a little bit higher ceiling, but if they're also in the interior, and of course Tennessee has Jalen Carey, who used to be at Vanderbilt. They could use him, but Tennessee has him, and Tennessee has maybe a more balanced team. I just think that Vanderbilt's backcourt, when those guys get cooking, I mean, Tyler Tanner has turned himself from, a pretty overlooked recruit who came here and last year was a nice little freshman to he might be a lot. I mean, he's
pretty
projected
good, man.
now to be a first-round pick, and he's that good. And so that he is better than Gillespie overall as a player.
Let's head back to our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in Steve and Franklin to the program. Steve, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, guys. Hey, as much as I'd like to say Tennessee's the answer to this, I got to believe it's Vanderbilt. Tennessee, they are so dependent on Gillespie and Ament, and the rest of the team is so hit and miss. I think when one of those guys have a bad game or one of them's in foul trouble, they seem to be in trouble. And Carey and Mistrella and Opara, they're just that Kentucky game and some of the conference games that they've lost, they really got kind of dominated. Carey missing like a dozen layups against Kentucky, and I just don't think Tennessee has a plan B outside of Ament and Gillespie. Gillespie's in foul trouble the other night against Auburn. They kind of fell apart for a big stretch. So I believe it's Vanderbilt. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, it's close. I mean, Tennessee, I hear everything Steve's saying on how reliant they are on those guys offensively. And this is also a team earlier in the year that while they're not perfect, they did beat Houston, right? Houston pretty darn good, man.
Mm-hmm.
And they did beat
win.
Houston. So, those are the type of games you're going to have to grind out when the tournament comes. Now, is Tennessee, by the time the tournament gets here, who are they matching up against? What's it look like? All those things that we can't answer here on February the 2nd. But that's when you look back at that, that's a huge win for them that you say, all right, well, those are the type of games you're going to have to grind out in the tournament. And we've seen them at least do it at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, at least there's a A and a B, a plan A and a B there, right? With those two guys.
Yep.
There'll be two guys who can really score the basketball. Yes, you want a Boswell and some of these other guys, Evans, come off the bench and hit shots, and on nights when the role players hit some shots, and the bigs have to play. I agree. There are games. I mean, Rick Barnes, it's like, I love Power, but like one game he had one rebound. He can't have one rebound. Yeah. He also said the other night, sometimes I wonder if my guys are at non-games. Never mind, please scratch that from the record.
Immediately regretted that. Yes.
Yeah. Nope.
I guess I probably shouldn't have said that, huh?
I did not mean that. But Tennessee, Vanderbilt, they play on the 21st and they play on March 7th. They play here first. They play there.
Yep.
A few weeks ago, I was like, man, those might be some ugly games on Tennessee. And now I think you're talking about potential for two really good games between those two, which is exciting.
So who has the most potential for a deep run in the NCAA tournament? Is it Vanderbilt or is it Tennessee? We'll take your thoughts on that. 615-737-1025. More coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Monday morning. We are live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. We'll have Corey Curtis from News 2 with us in the 8 o'clock hour. We'll get his thoughts on his impressions from Robert Saleh and where the Titans go from here with the offseason now upon us. 615-737-1025. We're throwing the question out there. Who has the most potential for a deep run in the NCAA tournament? Is it Vanderbilt or is it Tennessee, as George from Murfreesboro on the YouTube chat points out? I'd say Vandy found a couple of good basketball coaches out there. Byington doing a great job. Shea Ralph doing a great job. So it's a good time to be a Vanderbilt fan right now with the basketball teams doing what they're doing. By the way, we will get into some Diego Pavia discourse here in just a few minutes. But we all just saw what that looked like. Baseball season coming up, which has typically been Vanderbilt's bread and butter. So it's a good time to be a Vanderbilt fan right now.
Yeah. I mean, again, Candace Lee, I think, is and I actually did the research on this. She is the AD in the country with who of the people, there's only 21 of them who have hired their football and both basketball coaches. She'd be at the top of the list right now in terms of success. It's always, you got to see what they do next year, see what football does post Pavia and all that stuff, but three pretty fantastic hires. Yeah. The Vandy women yesterday were down 15 at home to Florida. I'm like, what is happening? I started watching the game, and then Michaela Blake just started completely destroying the Gators, ends up with 30 points and 8 rebounds, or no, not 8 rebounds, 8 assists, and they end up rolling. So there you go.
There you go. Dustin from Hopkinsville on the text line says it's Vandy. UT's not even close. If UT's close, so are my Cats. Talking about Kentucky. I mean, hey, by the way, big win for Kentucky over the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I got to disagree with you, Dustin. I mean, obviously, if you're going by the Kentucky Vanderbilt game, which is a 25-point blowout last week, then okay, I guess they're not close. But then Kentucky goes and wins at Arkansas. Kentucky is, I mean, who the heck knows? They've won at Tennessee. Yeah. I mean, like Kentucky. Like, could Kentucky beat Vanderbilt when they go there? I think they're going there. I think they have both games with them. Sure, they absolutely can. UT is close. I mean, UT is close. And UT, I would say, is better than Kentucky, by the way. But we did see Kentucky beat them on their home floor. Tennessee seems to be kind of steadily improving. Kentucky, one game to another. I mean, it's the box of chocolates. They Forrest Gump with them, man. And same with Arkansas. I mean, my gosh. That game was chippy, real chippy Saturday.
Calipari yelling at people in the hallway. It's good stuff out there. What are you doing? Stop it!
Yeah.
I was entertaining with that guy.
Yeah. But no, Tennessee and Vanderbilt are they're close. And maybe I said higher ceiling. I mean, I could see why people would look at, like, someone's like higher floor for Vandy, higher ceiling. That's what Ethan said. Higher ceiling for Tennessee, higher floor for Vandy. I get that. I mean, the ceiling part with Tennessee is obviously you look at Amen.
Yes.
I guess I think he's coming into his own, and good for him, and he's going to be a key guy. He is still a pencil thin freshman, there's still a limitation there. Again, he's going to eventually grow into that and get stronger and be more physical. But like this year, it's not like it's not happening. His aggression is great to see, because sometimes I think earlier in the year he didn't realize, like, yeah, man, you can just go ahead and give a couple dribbles, go in that guy's chest a little bit, elevate, and it's just you can get a shot wherever you want to get it. And he's understanding that now. But I don't know that he's going to become like a guy who's putting 25 a game up every night. If he gets to that, then I might agree with the higher ceiling.
Well, it's also, I mean, I feel like this conversation comes up every year, and last year especially, because it was, I mean, you knew that the Zakai Ziegler era was coming to an end at Tennessee. But I mean, Rick Barnes is 71 years old. I mean, we're talking about Amen, and I remember some of the conversation that Tennessee fans were having about him, like in November, and it's like, guys, just calm down a little bit. Give a little bit of time. He's still going to be a pretty high draft pick here, so he's probably gone after this year.
Yeah,
71 years old. Rick Barnes will be 72 coming up in July. I mean, every year with him at this point, it's like, how much longer does he want to do this? And I don't know, like when you're looking at Tennessee basketball moving forward here, how much incentive is he going to have to continue to hang around? I mean, obviously he can recruit. Obviously they can piece together some teams every year that are going to give you a chance to compete. But how much longer does he want to do this?
Yeah, it's a great. I really thought last year. I mean, I really thought, yeah, Ziegler, one of his all-time favorite players. That might be it. But then you have a guy like Ament coming in.
Yep.
And with everybody knowing that it's probably going to be. I mean, in our latest mock, Sam Vecini, he's got him going 6 to OKC. So throw.
Good for him.
Yeah. No pressure, man. You go there, it's like, just you got some time, and then you can just take some shots. So it's also insane. Like, going into the year, I thought he might be one of the best freshmen in the country for sure, right? He was one of the top recruits, but this freshman class is like nothing I've ever seen. I mean, I've never seen a freshman class like this. Again, people are talking about the 81 class with Ewing and Barkley and Mullins and other guys. Like, that's how good this class is. It's unbelievable with DeBonsa and with Peterson and Boozer. And I mean, if you guys haven't seen Kingston Flemings from Houston, and that's one difference between Houston then and now. Like, he is an A-cuff from, so Ament's down the list a little bit of that, but at the same time, he's still a clear first-round pick.
I mean, probably a clear lottery pick, right?
Pretty close, yeah. Because again, you can look at him and say, yeah, he's going to get stronger, and you just can't teach that length and that shot.
Well, it's one texter points out, Matt from Fairview says the tournament's anyone's game. I think there's maybe 3 or 4 teams that look unbeatable this year. Otherwise, if you watch any basketball, it's going to be a wild tournament. Like, when you watch Arizona play or you watch UConn or Michigan play, like, it's right now, it's tough for me to look at them play and look at Tennessee and be like, well, yeah, they can beat a couple of those teams and en route to like the Final Four or something like that. Is it impossible? No, but like there's pretty good basketball going on right now, as you mentioned. And is Tennessee or Vanderbilt going to get to that level? I don't know. That one's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the tournament is sometimes someone shocks a team like that and knocks them out for you, and then all of a sudden you don't have to deal with them. But no, I agree. I mean, Arizona is unbelievable. Michigan just kicked Michigan State's butt on the road. They don't win in that building, and that's a good Michigan State team, and Michigan they are so good up front. Those two in particular, but yeah, like UConn's really good, Duke's really good. Houston is going to end up being there then, but it's like, last year Tennessee, they like Houston absolutely put the clamps on them and kind of just ran them out of the building. But if you played that game 10 times, there's several games where Tennessee wins that game because they come out and they just hit shots, and some games you do and some games you don't. And so on a particular night where Gillespie and Ament are cooking, and then maybe you get one other guy, you get a Boswell hitting 3, whatever. Yeah, in this tournament, I think crazy stuff can happen. The other team goes cold. I mean, it's possible.
It is. I think my answer on this question is Vanderbilt. I just like the way that they're humming along here. I would give them the slight edge. Tennessee, to me, although they're playing better, I still think there's a little bit too much inconsistency there. I would go Vanderbilt with this answer here, which I feel like we're going Vanderbilt all the time now. Like, Vanderbilt's turned into the best athletic program in the country, apparently.
That's pretty good. It's pretty good right now. I mean, I don't know I don't know what's going to look like during baseball season. I mean, they're going to be good, but they're not expected to be like great. I think
we'll
Tennessee,
see.
Yeah, but we'll see. In Tennessee, coaching change, probably a little bit more talented, but yeah, the great thing is, like, we're going to be able to see those teams play twice.
Yep.
Between now and the end of we're going to see one in a couple weeks and then another end of the year.
At least twice.
And Tennessee at Kentucky. You've got, really Tennessee, like they should be able to do pretty well with the rest of the schedule. Going to Vanderbilt, the Alabama coming into Tennessee is a big one, but a lot of the remaining schedule, like, they should be able to handle it. There's a double-edged sword there, which is like you got some games that aren't going to help your resume that much. But, again, the 2 against Vanderbilt certainly can, and the 1 against Alabama. And then even at Kentucky. Those 4 games are the huge ones left. So, I mean, if they can win 2, 3 of those 4, put themselves into position to be a top 4 seed going into the SEC tournament.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. The Diego Pavia discourse is in full swing out there. We will get back into that after his performance at the Senior Bowl this weekend and the measurables that have come out. A lot of discourse on that. We will get into that. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby and Rexrode 102.5 The Game. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. The Senior Bowl has come and gone over the weekend. Joe, how much of the Senior Bowl did you watch this weekend?
None. That's
probably good.
about what happens. Saw some clips.
I saw some clips.
Saw like Pavia throw.
Yeah, that's where I'll leave it. I
Yeah.
saw some clips. He
Yeah.
made a couple of nice throws out there.
Yeah.
As we talked about last week, the size of Diego Pavia, now a big talking point. He is officially measured at 5'9" and 7/8. So
Measuring cheek size.
there we go. You want to round up 5'10". As ESPN Bet and others have pointed out, 5'9" and 7/8 would make him the shortest quarterback in the NFL since the 1970 AFL-NFL merger.
That's
So
wild.
that is a pretty wild stat when you throw it out there that way. So obviously, I mean, I think that regardless of what his size looked like, whether it was 5'10" or 6 foot on the nose or 5'11", whatever it is, like there was going to be a lot of discussion about him heading into the draft in terms of where he would go. Now that we know what he was officially measured at the Senior Bowl, that has amplified. And there's been a lot of discussion about that this weekend. Chase Daniel, former NFL quarterback, added his take to the mix this weekend. And here's what Chase Daniel had to say on the Diego Pavia front.
All right, look, there's been a ton of talk about Diego Pavia, 5'9" and 7/8, under 5'10", like 5'9", would be the shortest quarterback in the NFL since the merger, I think in the 60s. But I just don't get it. Look, is he a polarizing figure? Sure. Is he a winner? Absolutely. And this is coming from a short quarterback myself, 6 foot, barely 6 foot guy that measured at the combine. Look at all the quarterbacks that are short, right? How rarely are you throwing over people? I don't get why people are so up in arms. Look, he was never going to be a first overall pick. He was never going to be a first round pick. Why not take a waiver on him in the 3rd round or the 4th round or the 5th round? He was down there in the Senior Bowl and was the best quarterback in the Senior Bowl. Now, Garrett Nussmeier probably, right? This is a very little quarterback class, meaning like the top is Fernando Mendoza, Ty Simpson, QB2, Garrett Nussmeier, maybe, Cade Klub. There's a lot of like backup type guys. Why can't he have a career like me? Like 14 years as the backup, right? Like I just don't understand the want to try and knock him for his height, because what I see on the field is completely different. Like the dude's a baller. You got to have all the intangibles to be successful in the NFL as a quarterback. Yes, he's got to be able to throw. Yes, the height. Okay, maybe it matters to some. How big are your hands? That doesn't matter. Your heart, your poise, your determination. Are you a leader of men? All these things matter way more. I just don't understand why people are dogging Diego Pavia, because the play on the field is completely different than everyone's saying.
So that was Chase Daniel on the Diego Pavia front saying, hey, look, the size is what it is, but how often are you really throwing over people anyway? Why would you not take a flyer on this kid in like the 3rd or 4th round? What do you make of that, Joe?
Yeah. I mean, it's like there are times when you do have to be in the pocket, and so it probably matters a little bit, right? I mean that's why people like 6'6" quarterbacks. Ideally, then there's a few throws that aren't going to be obstructed that are obstructed for 6'2" guys, let alone 5'10" guys, right? But I mean, in general, I tend to agree. Like we've seen. I mean, Drew Brees. I don't think Drew Brees was. I don't know what he was listed at. He was not taller than 6 foot flat, right?
I think that's what he was listed at, was 6 foot on the nose.
Yeah, and so you're talking 2 inches taller than Diego Pavia, and you're talking about a Hall of Famer.
Russell Wilson's 5'11".
Yeah, so it's the fact that it's 5'9" and 7/8, which again is basically 5'10", but still 5'9" just sounds like, oh my gosh, that sounds so short. So, but essentially then he's an inch shorter than Russell Wilson, who won a Super Bowl. And so the height thing it's part of the equation. If Diego Pavia did all the things he did and was that athletic, and then he was 6'3",
He'd probably be first.
We might be talking about different things.
Pick.
Yeah, we might be. I mean, maybe. But yeah, we'd definitely be talking about it differently. But I tend to agree. Like all the other stuff, and I think as we go through the process, like we're going to see fewer and fewer people. Like some of the firestorm, which, I mean, frankly, I'm sorry, but like Vol Twitter was a lot of it. And it was like either Vols fans or Indiana fans, they were like, "Oh, you classless. He won't be drafted." It's like, yeah, calm down, like there's stuff that are character concerns. And then there's like someone putting an F-bomb out on social media. Like, come on, man. So at least that stuff, hopefully, will be talked about less. He'll get asked about all that stuff during the process. He's going to impress people. And the intangibles are going to be a huge plus for him. The way his teammate, the way he leads the team, all that stuff's going to be a huge plus for him. It's just, can it make up for the physical limitations? But apparently, he also had like one of the hardest throws in Senior Bowl history I saw. Which is like, wow. Like, so the zip on the passes, because I think arm talent is still a thing with him. It's a question. I think he answered a lot of those this year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really interested to see where he goes in the draft. I mean, I would have been interested anyway, beyond all the height stuff. But when you're officially, I guess, the shortest quarterback since the AFL NFL merger, like, what does that look like? People are asking about Doug Flutie on the text line. I think he was officially listed as 5'10".
Yeah, because I was going to say, I thought I agree with you, Texter. I thought it was 5'9" too.
You could have told me Doug Flutie was 5'4", and I'd have been like, "Yep, that sounds right."
Yeah, but basically, it's the same thing, right?
It's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
So I am very fascinated to see where he goes. And I said it last week. He's going to find himself in a preseason game, and you're going to look out there wherever he is, and you're going to be like, wow, there's Diego Pavia out there making some plays in the NFL. Now, I fully realize and understand, that making plays in the third quarter of an NFL preseason game and being a starting NFL quarterback are two very different things in the regular season. So I understand that. But I'm just here to tell you, like, he's going to find his way into some preseason games, and wherever he is, whether it's like Arizona or Buffalo or wherever he ends up, that fan base is going to be like, hey, look at this guy out here. Like, it's going to happen come August.
It's guaranteed. Dustin's saying, look at the short QBs in the league, not doing well. Well, I mean, Kyler Murray, obviously it hasn't gone as hoped for Kyler Murray, but is that because of his height? I don't know. I don't know that I would necessarily look at it that way. Bryce Young, is it because of his height? Actually, Bryce Young is becoming.
Bryce Young actually had a pretty good year.
He had a pretty good year. He's coming on as a player. You don't see a ton of guys, because usually, even like younger in the process, a lot of times guys, but you know what? Maybe you're better as a running back. Maybe you're better as a receiver, whatever, or a corner, depending on what type of athlete you are. A lot of guys, if you're shorter, you don't even get the opportunity. But I don't think it's, I mean, again, you'd rather have more size, but it's not a disqualifier.
One texter asking, is Pavia get drafted earlier or later than Shedeur Sanders did? I will go later. Later is my guess.
Shedeur went 5th, right? 5th round?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's possible. Certainly. And again, it's like one team falls in love with them, maybe even earlier than the 5th. But yeah, I would my guess would also be later. My guess would be 6th or 7th, I think, at this point.
615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. Plus, coming up next, another quarterback that just played college football in the state of Tennessee has a situation going on related to Diego Pavia that I think we're closer and closer to getting a resolution to. We will get into that coming up next. We'll have the rant coming up later this hour. Corey Curtis at 8 o'clock. All that ahead. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. We have the Rex Rant coming up here in just a few minutes at 7:45. Joe, I got some bad news. Punxsutawney Phil has seen his shadow, which would indicate 6 more weeks of winter, according to the groundhog. So Punxsutawney Phil, according to reports, saw his shadow. Now, how they know he saw it, I don't know. I guess they saw it. But the shadow was seen, and that indicates 6 more weeks of winter from the groundhog.
So, but it's just if he goes back, right?
I'll read the opening paragraph. Punxsutawney Phil, the groundhog weather icon, saw his shadow when he was plucked from his warm burrow and thrust out into the frigid air Monday morning. According to Phil, that means 6 more weeks of winter are ahead. This is the headline from CNN, opening graph.
Yeah. Okay. That one's every year. I'm like, has there ever been any correlation to whatever he does and whatever? And also, does he ever not see his shadow? So
I think that does happen from time to time.
Then he just stays outside all day, like
don't know,
plays, frolics.
Just we've kind of had our fill of winter around here. I think everybody would agree that probably over it. But according to the groundhog, we're going to have to deal with it for a little bit longer.
Yeah. Just the whole thing is, and there's a really good movie, based around it with Bill Murray. It's one of the dumbest things that we have going on. I think we got a lot of dumb things. Well, it made me pretty immediately not like Punxsutawney Phil anymore. I was like, no, let's just go ahead and get this thing out of there. Yeah, it'd be nice to have hope. But the problem is then we'd have false hope, and we'll probably end up getting like a worse storm than we just got. And then then we hate Punxsutawney Phil.
We can go. Amy be going to the groundhog hunt instead of a fox hunt.
We got to go get Phil. He lied to us about the weather.
Just about anything can come right back to Amy and the Fox Hunting Society. Pretty amazing.
It is amazing how that works. Joe, we mentioned Diego Pavia, still a quarterback out there waiting to see what his future is going to look like. That is Joey Aguilar, most recently Tennessee's quarterback. He joined the Diego Pavia federal lawsuit that is challenging the NCAA's eligibility rules a few months ago, and now has separated himself from that lawsuit, Joe. And Adam Sparks has laid this out, I think, in pretty good detail at the Knoxville News Sentinel. Obviously some recent things that have gone on here in the world of college sports have clearly changed Aguilar's strategy. So first off, Aguilar hired the same attorney that basically helped out Nico Iamaleava in the probe against Tennessee and into Iamaleava when he was recruited at Tennessee and all the NIL stuff that went on there. The Bediako situation that we've talked about at Alabama, where he was granted the temporary restraining order to return to college basketball. Trinidad Chambliss is suing for basically another year of a medical thing, and he has joined. He's filed his eligibility lawsuit in Calhoun County Circuit Court in Mississippi. So basically, they're going the state route rather than the federal route to try to get this thing done in those two situations. And it looks like Joey Aguilar could be doing the same in the state of Tennessee, and maybe his chances of victory are increased going the state route rather than the federal route. So we'll see what ends up happening on that front. I believe, is it February the 10th? I believe is his date here. So we're going to maybe find out here shortly.
Week from tomorrow.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens on that front there. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think most people, Joe, think that he's probably not going to win here. And then he, I guess, would have to pivot and see what the NFL process looks like for him after that point. What do you make of this? My question, kind of building off that, is what if he does win? You've got George McIntyre, Faison Brandon, and Ryan Staub has transferred from Colorado there. So you got 3 quarterbacks in the building now. Like, if Aguilar wins, is he just automatically the starting quarterback again at Tennessee next year? What does that all look like?
I mean, it's a great question. I feel like the presumption with the program has been that he's not going to win. And I still, just based on everything I know about it, I think that's right. It's going through all this, the eligibility clock and the City College San Francisco, then COVID. I mean, this is going back pre-COVID, with this stuff, but it seems like he's going to lose. But yeah, let's say he wins. Fascinating, because I don't know what the young guys are making. I don't think Staub was some big, like they didn't get the big ticket quarterback. If that were the case, I think it would just be like, good luck to you, Joey. I hope you win the case. And then also Duke needs a QB.
That's
so
true.
It'd be something like that. But now, if you're Tennessee, how do you just dismiss him? I think that you probably would take him, right?
I think he'd probably be the starter.
Yeah, I think he'd probably be your starter. I mean, he performed too well last year to me to just assume you're going to get that from either the young guys or Staub, right?
I would assume so.
So, so I guess in a way, well, it's not good. It would have been better for them to get someone who it's like, okay, there's your starter for 2026. Didn't happen. So I think in that situation, I think you have to go with him. And yeah, and if you do, then you maybe expedite somebody leaving, but and I guess that would be McIntyre.
That would be my guess.
It seems like, but that's the thing too. It's like at this point, you still really don't know until guys get on campus and they start getting in there, like what they're going to be, or, how far they have to go, which is definitely the case with Brandon.
Yeah. I mean, first off, let's say he doesn't win Aguilar. Is he getting drafted in the NFL? Like, I would assume if he is, it's going to be way late, right? Like probably 5th, 6th, 7th round, somewhere in that neighborhood. But I mean, there's a chance he doesn't get drafted at all. I mean, look, the size part from him is not overly concerned. I think he's 6'3", right? So I mean, he's got he's listed by Tennessee at 6'3". We'll see what he actually ended up being.
But yeah, he's not.
But he's a pretty big guy. So
yeah.
How much did this past year help him when it comes to the NFL draft?
It put
that
him
would
on
be part of it.
He was on no radar at all,
right.
So it definitely helped him.
Right. So what does that end up looking like? And if not, if he does win, is he automatically the starter next year? I mean, that's where we are in college sports right now. Is he going to the NFL? Is he going to be the starting quarterback at Tennessee? Is his career completely over at this point? That's all those options are on the table for Joey Aguilar right now.
Yeah. Yep. And the NFL, again, this is where, first of all, Tennessee puts him on the radar. So he's, I don't think anyone was talking about him at all. You can't ignore the production. There will be definitely some, okay, so how much of that offense just help like a average guy have massive production? And, there will be those questions, but I don't know, he throws a good ball. I mean, he can move around pretty well. He cut down the mistakes and interceptions quite tremendously from the year before. So I think someone will at least give him, take a flyer on him. If not, he'll be, a UDFA that a lot of people will probably want to try to sign.
By the way, I mentioned February the 10th. I think the February the 10th date for the hearing is actually the Pavia case. So the Pavia case is being heard. The federal case is being heard in Nashville on February the 10th. And I don't see a specific date for Aguilar's now. I think Trinidad Chambliss, I think his is being heard on February the 12th. So a lot of those situations coming up here. Now, as Sparks points out in the article, if the Pavia case succeeds, Aguilar would not gain eligibility immediately because he's no longer a plaintiff. However, language of a preliminary injunction presumably would be broad enough for Pavia to file a federal action in the same court that would have the effect of a class action suit applying to former junior college players with the same fact pattern as Pavia, which at that point would include Joey Aguilar.
For Aguilar to do that. Yeah. So it still would help him if and it's worth a shot to do this in Mississippi. And by the way, that's a really interesting one, Chambliss, because Chambliss, I mean, I feel like and there's another guy who's shorter, right? Is Chambliss 5'11", 6, something like that? But I feel like the way he played this year, he would, again, this NFL, this quarterback class is like, who the heck knows? After Mendoza, we think Simpson, and then sure, Nussmeier, I don't know,
Beck,
yeah. I mean, if you tell me Chambliss can't get in there like the 3rd round or something like that, I mean, I would bet you he'd have a shot.
He's listed at 6 feet. We'll see what the official measurement is. You got to be careful with these college listings.
You do. Yeah. And maybe it's another 5'10" guy. He didn't look like that to me, though. Like, again, I know that's a very inexact science, but watching him play, I didn't like with Pavia, you watch him play, like you can see it. Like he's a little guy playing quarterback. It didn't seem that way with Chambliss.
I didn't think so either, but I will see what the official measurement says.
We'll
I mean,
see.
Pavia was listed at 6 feet too.
Yes, he was. We'll see if Ole Miss and their listings are a little more honest than Dabo Swinney claims their coaches are when it comes to tampering.
There is that. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Corey Curtis will be with us at 8 o'clock. We got the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode coming up next. Taking your thoughts in the meantime on our phone and text lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
Sometimes he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And sometimes he's just, well, Joe.
Awkward moment. Let's do it.
This is the Rex Rant, now on Robby and Rexrode.
Don't mess with me, pork chop. What day is this?
It's February 2nd. Groundhog Day.
Cut out your opponent's jugular and eat it.
Cut their jugular and eat their spleen.
We'll go golfing once a year.
Tally ho!
Would you call this cutting someone's jugular, Mike?
If so, does this cause like a performance issue?
Built to pound. It's the excessive sex and the excessive violence.
Punxsutawney Phil. That's right, woodchuck chuckers. It's Groundhog Day. Get up and shake that hog out there. Yeah. Come here, Groundhog.
Woo, 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 woo. It is time for the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode. You check it out every morning here on the show. A lot of talk about jugulars over the years.
And what did we determine that it actually is? We finally figured out what it actually is, right?
Yeah, I forget
the
slogan.
malarkey thing. Yeah. It was like
Trample
the dead. Yeah. Yeah. Somehow I took cutting a jugular out of
Trample
that.
the weak, hurdle the dead.
Trample the weak, hurdle the dead.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. Somehow I'm for years.
Cut their jugular.
Yeah. Why did I come up with jugular for that? But it is pretty funny to think about that. Hurdle the dead. Yeah. Bring out your dad. And they just jump over him. Let's play football.
No wonder that they fired Malarkey and Robisky at the end of it. Like, these guys, they're trying to jump over all the dead people. They're not worried about the live people, trying to tackle them.
All my dead friends are coming over tonight. Okay.
With that in mind,
let's make
Happy Groundhog Day.
Yeah, happy Groundhog Day. All right, so I'm going to go to something that happened this morning. And it happened. It's happened a lot. I've done it, but I need to understand. We need to talk about the etiquette here. And I'll explain why I'm pissed off about what happened today. So first of all, I took like a long. Anybody who lives around Nolensville knows that the farm roads, there's apparently trees still all over the roads and stuff. And by the way, shout out to our lineman again. Can't say enough. We have one on the text line who's actually he said about Punxsutawney Phil, says, as a lineman working this ice storm, I'm about to go punt that groundhog like Brent Kern. So they're still out there working on a lot of this stuff. So shout out to them. And I know it's hard, for people out there still without power. I'm going off on a side here, but it is kind of all related. Like I took kind of different roads, like a longer way, but you still end up on kind of a back road, but it goes straight to 24. So I'm on there and I have my brights on, and kind of around a little bend, a car comes. And so, I turn off my bright. Was it ideally, was it as far away as you'd like to be? No, but I didn't see the car until it was pretty close.
Sure.
So it turned off my brights. So then, blast the brights right in my face as soon as we get right next to each other. And it's like, dude, I mean, think about where you're coming from, where I'm coming from. That's totally fair if someone is keeping their brights on,
I agree.
for sure. If someone has their brights on, do that. Or if there's a long straightaway and they don't, they do it at the last second, I could see you being pissed and doing that. I mean, I've been on both sides of the hole. Turn on your brights, forgot to turn on my brights. They forgot to turn on your brights, so I flash them, all that. But that to me was BS. Okay. And so what is proper etiquette when it comes to your brights? I think some people don't understand. Like some people just keep their brights on.
They do.
And it's just like, do you understand that if a car is coming, you need to turn your brights off?
Right. I approach it this way. As long as I can see that you've put in legitimate effort to minimize the effectiveness of your brights in my face, I respect that. Like if I see you make an effort to turn them off, even if it's a little bit later than I would have hoped, that's fine.
Yeah.
I can respect it.
Great.
Okay.
We agree.
I think that's what the etiquette should be. Now, there are some people that just drive around obliviously and just leave those things on. The worst is actually when they're like right behind you and they've got those things on. And the other part of this could lead to a whole side rant. Some of these cars now, I can't tell if they got their brights on or not. Yeah. It's how the headlights are made, where it's just like, wow, look at these LED lights behind me that could shine into, the surface of the sun out there. Let's get this thing out of the way here. So I don't know whether to be mad or not at those people. They could just be driving normally in their new cars that have these ridiculous lights.
And I've flashed those people, and then they've been like, no, actually, here's the brights. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that sucks. But I've also been flashed when I haven't had my brights on, and I'm like, screw you. I don't have my brights on.
Yeah.
Here they are.
Yeah, exactly. So it's made it a little bit more difficult, I think, with these newer lights.
But in this case, again, he saw, yes, we were close. Oh, okay. Let me take those off because I just saw you.
Yeah.
I now just see you. It's, it's a turn. So it's like, it's not a lot of time. And then you have to do you have to do the thing right in my face as soon as we're right next to each other. Like, it was a
they're upset at
good
you.
faith attempt. Okay. Who's upset at me?
No, just the that person.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, the cars with the auto brights that's a good point.
There is
too.
some auto bright. We bought a new car a couple years ago. It's got the auto brights, and I hate it. I just immediately turn it off. It's also one of those ones that's got the when you come to a stoplight, it just turns the engine off.
Oh.
And like as soon as you let your foot off the brake, it turns it back on. It drives me insane.
Yeah.
I turn that I find that button every time and I just turn it off. Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, we have we have that, which I get it, but yeah, it is. It takes some getting used to.
I'll burn up some more gas. I don't care.
Yeah. Proper and safe etiquette, so according to Liam, is to turn yours off briefly rather than blind them.
We'll see.
I don't understand.
Is that what you did?
What are you trying to say?
Johnny says the Venn diagram of people who leave their brights on and don't clear off the snow from their car is basically a full circle. Did see a lot of that last week, too.
I guess I can see
it's
that.
like, wow, you're out driving and there's still an entire block of ice on top of your car.
Right on top.
That's amazing.
Can't wait for that to fall right in someone's
destroy
path.
someone.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, it's it's bad when it's snow, but at least it's snow, right? Like, it's snow and it's it's not this big hurling cinder block that's going to come off. But there was a lot last week of just full on ice on the top of some of these cars where they're just like, yeah, I'm not going to clean that off. We'll just get out there and drive and it'll fall off behind me.
Yeah.
Be somebody else's problem.
Yeah. Hope someone doesn't die. Hurdle the dead. Okay. So, all right. So I'm looking at the YouTube chat. Look at the YouTube chat.
Okay.
What was my last post in the YouTube chat?
I'm reading Warriors trading for Giannis.
Yeah, I didn't type that.
Oh.
So that means that Brennan told me that sometimes he'll watch the show in college and then he has posted the YouTube chat. And I'm like, what? As what? As like, why? I didn't see your name. He said it said your name. How is that possible? That's illegal. And I'm calling the feds in to shut this down. How is it possible that I have other texts with the exact same username, Joe Rexrode 72, and then he's
logged into your account?
He's got your account.
Yeah.
That has to be a problem, right?
YouTube TV, probably, right?
It's
YouTube
probably
TV.
not good.
Is that what it is? If it's YouTube TV?
Probably.
Oh, okay.
It's good to know Brennan's up there.
Hey, yeah. What time is it? 8. Wait a minute. Aren't you supposed to be in class? I'm checking your schedule right now, dude.
There we go.
And
He's just in class waiting for it to start.
Waiting for it to start.
And he's just like, oh, let's see what Daddy-O's up to.
Yeah.
I guess that's
loyal
true.
listener to the program.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Yeah, you're supposed to be in class right now, 8:30, which is 7:30 our time, right? You better damn well be in class posting this stuff. And why aren't you paying attention if you are in class? Now I'm going to look at Life 360 and see if he is in class or he's sitting in his freaking dorm. Hey, let me broadcast to the world that I didn't go to class today. No, he's in class.
Attaboy. All
right, he's in class. All right, I'm fine with you. He being in class, and I'm not that mad. But, dude, like, pay attention. Also, is he right? Are the Warriors actually trading for Giannis?
I don't know. We'll see.
Is that true?
Shout out to everybody in Michigan State right now listening to the program.
Yeah,
come through yet, but
yeah, don't put the sound on in your class. He's in Packaging 101, Principles of Packaging at Erickson Hall.
What is that?
Packaging? Packaging?
Yeah.
It's actually a really good major. It's packaging, it's basically like an engineering type.
Okay.
But it's packaging packaging.
Yeah. Okay.
Like the packaging.
I just didn't know that was I didn't know that was offered. Okay.
Oh yeah. That's
e-commerce. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, there you go.
Shout out to Michigan State. Robby and Rexrode doing very well up there in Michigan State right now.
Yeah. And I do have to change my password. But now I'm scouring the internet to find out if they're actually trading for Giannis. That would be wild.
615-737-1025. That one went all over the place. Yeah. We'll have Corey Curtis from News 2 with us coming up next. Robby and Rexrode 1025 The Game. Final hour, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Monday morning. And as we do every Monday morning at 8 o'clock, we head to our phone line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com and welcome in Corey Curtis to the program, brought to you by Tennessee Men's Clinic. Corey, good morning. How are you?
I am a delight, Robert. How are you?
Also a delight. Appreciate you taking time to be with us this morning. Corey, you have now spoken with Robert Saleh. You have seen that Brian Daboll has been hired as the offensive coordinator. Your initial impressions from Saleh's press conference last week, and what do you make of that pairing, now official, as the new Titans head coach and offensive coordinator, and what that's going to mean for Cam Ward and this franchise moving forward?
Well, I mean, it's interesting how everybody's different because, we automatically, pigeonhole him with Vrabel as, big, imposing, defensive guy, which he is. But, clearly the personalities are still a little bit different. And I thought he was calm and confident and in command. And, so I thought a lot of those, first impressions, were good. I thought he was prepared. Thought he was respectful to everyone. So, all those things are good. Did he split the atom, saying we're going to be fast and violent? No, everybody does things along those lines, but he has a track record of his players playing that way. So he can rest on that some. I think the Daboll thing is really interesting because of how much autonomy, Daboll is going to have. And, it's like with Brian Callahan, my concern is you have to be head coach first, defensive play caller second. And, I know he didn't call the plays with the Jets, and now he's going to do it with the Titans. But, it'll be interesting to see how he handles it and if he's able to, master, overseeing the whole thing, establishing all the relationships while still calling the defense, because I think that's hugely important.
What if there's one thing from, because I'm with you. I thought it was a really good press conference. He was impressive. Actually, yeah, if you're gonna bring Vrabes into it, he actually is way more likable than him. And the Vrabel was initially, right? For whatever that's worth. But if there's one thing that he said that made you raise your eyebrows, what would it have been?
Oh gosh. I'm just trying to think back.
I'm getting you. I know I'm forcing you to go through the entire presser now, but yeah, if nothing comes to mind, that's fine.
There was nothing, earth shattering in there. I think the thing that he said, that I'm like, oh, this is going to set everybody's hair on fire, was when he was so complimentary of the people in the organization, including the owner.
Yep.
I was like, well, there's going to be a lot of people who aren't going to believe that that's actually possible, but yet it is. But yet it is. He's complimentary of everyone involved. Look, he doesn't want this job if he doesn't believe. Okay, maybe that's it. He doesn't want this job unless he absolutely thinks he can succeed, because this is his second bite at the apple, and he's not going to get a third. Most guys don't. So he had to have more confidence in this job than all the other ones if this is the one he circled and said, this is the one that I want. And I think a lot of that stems, from an obvious belief in Cam Ward and some of the stuff he saw when the Titans went and played there, later in the season. So, that wasn't earth shattering, but that was one of the real things that I was curious about was, why so much faith, cause this is your last chance, you probably won't get another one. So that was interesting. And, the succession pattern, which basically sounds like they plan to do it from within by coaching up coaches, which is not something you've heard a lot of head coaches talk about in the past. I don't think the importance of improving the coaches on the staff.
So Corey, we did an exercise earlier in the show talking about, if you're a Titans fan out there and you could identify one player this offseason, whether it's via free agency or the draft, that the Titans could target and bring in, who would it be? And we got answers all over the place. I do want to ask you about one person in particular, because he's a very interesting case to me. He's a free agent. That's George Pickens. as of now, he's going to be a free agent. I think the Dallas Morning News actually put it out there earlier this morning that there have not been any talks between Pickens and the Cowboys to this point. Now, that doesn't mean that there won't be as they move forward here, but let's just say for the sake of argument that he makes it to free agency. On the one hand, he's going to be 25 years old. He just caught 93 passes for 1,429 yards and 9 touchdowns, which does not grow on trees in NFL free agency, as you know. I mean, that's very difficult to find wide receivers at that age with that production level getting to free agency. On the other hand, I mean, he was clearly very difficult to deal with in Pittsburgh to the point where they shipped him out of there at his age. And if the Cowboys don't make any effort to re-sign him, I don't know what that would really signal to you going through two teams being that productive at the age of 25. So that's a long way of me asking you, Corey, if he gets out there and is available, how interested should the Titans be in George Pickens?
Well, I don't know if the Cowboys can afford him. I mean, there's a reason Mike Parsons isn't there anymore, and because they've got a lot of money tied up in a couple of guys, and to have that much money tied up at the receiver position, if you had him and CeeDee Lamb, might not be sustainable. Although the cap is going up to $300 million this year. The Titans don't have a 1, and I don't think they want to draft a 1 at number 4 at wide receiver. And I think we all think that they could benefit most by drafting, someone on the edge defensively. But because I don't know if anybody's convinced if any of the receivers are truly that 1, but there is better depth there. There are other good receivers, but he is clearly the only one out there that is a 1. So you have to, number one question, is this where you want to fit him in your cap scenario for the next, 3 to 5 years? And realistically, probably be 2 because, all these contracts are now structured where you can escape after 2 years. And number 2, we've heard them talking a lot about, like when they traded away Jarvis Brownlee, didn't fit as they're trying to build the culture of their football team. Does he fit the culture of your football team? Now, clearly, they need some help at that spot. The Patriots went and got Stephon Diggs, and it made a big difference, for them this year as they made, their leap. We saw, Jacoby Myers make a big difference, once the Jacksonville Jaguars acquired him in their wide receiving core. So, a star or a standout wide receiver, absolutely could make a difference. Now, you're the Titans, so you're 3-14 back-to-back years. You've got to pay the stinky tax, which means you're probably going to have to pay more than a winning team. I don't know how much more. I think some of that gets overblown, but it's going to cost you, and there's going to be other teams interested. I mean, like you said, those numbers don't grow on trees. But I do think as you're developing your football team, you do have to do your homework on, is he going to fit in? Can he handle the money? We've seen other guys before who can't handle the money. They get the money and they check out. Can he handle the money, and will he be a benefit to your football team on the field and in the locker room? Because that's a lot of money to invest. We're talking over $30 million a year, probably, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's take a lot of research, and, you got to be prepared to go all in, because there's going to be somebody else, at least one somebody else, who's going to go after him because he's the only one out there.
I do think that Pittsburgh giving up on him, because you're talking about a long time established head coach and a lot of really strong veterans there. That's probably one of the biggest red flags to me, because obviously the talent is legit. But if they, I know they went and got Metcalf, but it's like, what's that?
We didn't hear anything out of Dallas last year about him, though, did we?
No, not anything that really stands out.
And maybe he just behaved himself because he knew it was a contract year.
Or it's such a circus there anyway that it sort of just gets lost in the shuffle. They were sort of irrelevant.
Maybe he's Jeff Blauser.
Maybe so.
So I have a real quick
contract year player of all time. Yeah, go ahead.
I have a quick hot take that I think I'm going to be, putting out there a lot. Now I can sense it. I just want to throw it at you real fast. So Well, and since we are now, it's February, we can talk about the draft. I'm not at all opposed if the Titans are up, and I agree, I don't think that there's a receiver that's worth that spot. I'm not at all down on the Titans drafting an offensive tackle if they think they have a great one who's going to be a 10-year left tackle and replace the Mandor in a year. I know a lot of people would be very upset about that because, like you said, they so badly need an edge, and there are a lot of really good possibilities. But I'm not opposed to it if there's someone they're like, this is the guy. What say you?
Well, look, I'll give you the examples that I always give. There are a lot of teams that had quarterbacks that passed on Aaron Rodgers, and there are a lot of teams that had running backs that passed on Adrian Peterson. All right. If you see a guy who is you think he is an all-pro player, I don't think you can go wrong drafting him. All right. And that's pretty much no matter what the position is. Okay. If you think he is that guy at that position, he is going to make your team better. No question. Now, he is going to have to be that much better than Vane or the kid from Texas Tech, or Tyson from Arizona State. He's going to have to be that much better than those guys. But if he is, you can't go wrong drafting Trent Williams. All right. That is not a bad move. Now you're going to have to explain it, and you have to be prepared to stand by it. And you better hope that player lives up to it. But you're never going to get me to vote against drafting good players. And so I won't have a hard time with that. Having said that, they desperately need help on the edge, but you don't draft for need. I just happen to think that some of the help is available in their picking range. Now, here's another scenario for you in the draft, if we're talking about it here, is what if you can trade down to like 7 or 8 and still get one of those guys, whether it be wide receiver or edge? That could be extremely beneficial as well.
All right, Corey, who you got in the Super Bowl coming up this weekend?
I really like Seattle. I know that's not like a mystery to anybody. I know, and I'm not downplaying the Patriots. They're a very good football team. Braves has done a great job. Drake May has had an unbelievable year. I just look at the personnel and the performance and think they are better on both sides of the line of scrimmage. I think they are better. When you look at their skill guys, they are better offensively than the Patriots' skill guys. When you look at what they have in the trenches defensively, it's better than what the Patriots have. And when you look at Drake May, while he had an incredible year as he has faced these upper echelon defenses, he hasn't lost games for the Patriots in the playoffs, but he hasn't won them either. And, I think Sam Darnold has stepped up, and, the Seahawks did not carry along Sam Darnold. He did a lot of the lifting too. And so I think they're better all the way across. That doesn't mean they're going to win. We've seen Vrabel specials before. Maybe he'll have Kevin Byard throw a touchdown pass to Dane Cruikshank. Pick those guys up off waivers here this week. We've seen Vrabel do it before, so I'm not going to say it's impossible. I just think the Seahawks are better, and so I've got Seattle.
As Vrabel's passing, as he's accepting the Lombardi Trophy this weekend, he probably goes, like from Kraft to Vrabel, maybe to Drake May. How quickly does Dr. Jack Gibbons get the Lombardi Trophy? Is he like 5th in line? What do we think?
What about Stretch?
No.
Yeah.
Stretch is probably first.
Stretch will he'll just do the interview.
Just hand it to me.
Yeah. He probably won't talk about Drake at all, because he's a young quarterback, so he's going to push him to the side. He'll spend the whole time talking about Harold and, and Hunter Henry.
Sure.
Every aged veteran will be talked about at length. And if there's somebody on special teams, they'll probably get a nod as well.
Rodney Harrison, start talking about the dudes from
25 years ago. Yeah. Troy Brown, unbelievable player. Corey?
Two-way player. The original Travis Hunter.
That's right.
There you go.
Corey, thank you, sir. As always, appreciate your time, and we will talk to you next week.
All right, fellas, have a good one and enjoy your week. And hopefully we can get some of this out of here so the kids can go back to school.
That would be great.
That'd be good.
That would be nice. I think we're going to get
that'd
some
be
melting
freaking
today.
phenomenal is
Yeah.
what it would be.
We're going to get some melting today, hopefully. Hopefully so. Corey Curtis, brought to you by Tennessee Men's Clinic, joins us every Monday morning at 8 o'clock here on the program. We will get back into the exercise we did earlier in the show. Titans fans, you can identify one name to target this offseason, either via free agency or in the draft. Who is it? We'll take your thoughts on that. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. I got a 4-pack of wristbands to give away to the National Wild Turkey Federation Sports Show at the Opryland Convention Center coming up Thursday, February the 12th through Saturday, February the 14th. To caller number 6. Caller number 6, 615-737-1025. Will win a 4-pack of wristbands to the National Wild Turkey Federation Sports Show at Opryland Convention Center, which, by the way, I've been a few times. It's pretty awesome. So you're going to want to go to that. Coming up Thursday, February the 12th through Saturday, February the 14th. Appreciate Corey Curtis from News 2 for being with us in the last segment. Joe, we've thrown this out there today. We've gotten a lot of different responses on this. You're a Titans fan, you can identify one name to target this offseason. It can be either via free agency or via the NFL draft. Who is it? What is that name? We've gotten a lot of people in the draft. We've gotten a lot of votes for people that will be eligible, at least at the moment, in free agency. Joe, we mentioned George Pickens with Corey in the last segment. And he's a really interesting case because, as Corey mentioned, Dallas has already tied up a lot of money in CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott. They didn't tie up money in Micah Parsons, and there was that whole big thing where they traded him to Green Bay and all that. And the Dallas Morning News has put it out there that at this point, there have not been any contract discussions between the Cowboys and George Pickens. Now, it's February the 2nd. There doesn't necessarily have to be some contract discussions at this point, but as people that I've read in the comments of the Dallas Morning News have pointed out, you would think after the Parsons situation deteriorated the way that it did, maybe there'd be a priority on maybe getting some of these contracts done a little bit sooner than the Cowboys have been able to do, and that has not happened yet to this point. George Pickens is 24. He will be 25 next season. And I read through the numbers, Joe. 93 catches, 1,429 yards, and 9 touchdowns this past season for a guy that's about to be 25. I mean, frankly, like that combination of those numbers and that age, those guys just don't make it to free agency, hardly ever, right? Now, there's more baggage with George Pickens.
Which should tell you something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's the Pittsburgh situation where clearly, I mean, that relationship just completely deteriorated. We'll see what happens with Dallas, but if he doesn't get re-signed by Dallas, you're talking about he would have gone through 2 teams and work in on his 3rd by the time he's 25 years old. So how do you view the whole George Pickens thing as right now he is scheduled to be a free agent?
It's something that needs to be thoroughly explored. I mean, I think any team out there, like, there's some teams that might be like, yeah, forget about it. But it is possible also for people to mature. So it's interesting. You guys made the point when Corey was on about there wasn't much. There was the one game where there's been some plays and stuff where it's like, look at that, like lack of effort and things like that. But like all the wacky stuff, at least I don't remember hearing anything about that from last year. So does that mean he matured? Does that mean he's learned from this? I don't know. But again, like the Steelers, if that place, again, Tomlin, that organization, and especially like the veterans on the defensive side of the ball, and what I just have always perceived for a long time is a really strong locker room. I mean, guys like Hayward and those guys and Watt. I mean, so if they were like, especially with a team so needing playmakers, so needing more offense, and they're like, yeah, I understand they went and got Metcalf, but that's even a bigger red flag than your normal red flag to me. That's a huge red flag.
They did have Antonio Brown, kept him around.
Well, yeah, I mean, Antonio Brown for most of his career was like just some really good player, and then all of a sudden at the end it was like, I don't know what the hell happened, but my God, it went haywire.
I think the shirt was coming off, the shoulder pads are off, and he's running out of the stadium.
Yeah, like if Antonio Brown in the last 2-3 years was what he was coming in, I don't think it would have, right? Like I think the first time with him was like when he videotaped or whatever Tomlin's locker room,
his Instagram
put it
live.
on. Yeah. I was like, dude, what's up with this guy? And then all of a sudden it was like, what's up with this guy times a million?
Yeah. That got way out of hand.
Yeah, maybe Pickens will be the opposite. Comes in and there's all this stuff, and he just sort of chills it out and calms it down. But it's too much talent to ignore. You have to look into it.
I mean, he finished 3rd in the league in receiving yards last year. Like I said, I mean, those guys just don't come in free agency very often when you're that combination of he's going to be 25 years old and he just had 1,400 yards. Like that just doesn't happen very often. So I think if you're the Titans, you absolutely, like, you kind of exhaust yourself talking about it, right? If he ends up making it to free agency. Because, I mean, if he does come in and he has the proper attitude and he has matured and all those things, I mean, you're talking about he's a legitimate wide receiver 1. I mean, he just put up 1,400 yards. So that's a wide receiver 1 that this team is desperately searching for. So when that's on the table, I think you owe it to yourself to discuss it if you're the Titans. I'm interested to see how much interest there is league-wide for him and what that looks like. There are other receiving options. I mean, we have people on the text line pointing out Alec Pierce. Other people have brought up Romeo Doubs from Green Bay earlier in the show. There's Mike Evans, which you brought up earlier in the show as well. He'll be 33 next year.
I think I heard DVD talking about Wan'Dale Robinson.
Who's got some history with Dable, obviously.
With the Giants, yeah.
Sure.
So, yeah.
There are some options at the moment that look like they're going to be there. I mean, what's going to happen with Juwan Jennings in San Francisco? Do they reach another deal with him, or does he end up in free agency? So it's going to be interesting to see by the time that mid-March rolls around how many of these guys actually make it to free agency. But it looks like there will at least be some options out there. Like, I doubt very seriously Dobbs is back with the Packers. I could be wrong. I doubt he's back. They drafted Golden. They got a bunch of other guys there. My guess is he's probably going to be a free agent. My guess is Alec Pierce is probably going to be a free agent. So there's at least a couple options there that you're going to have on the receiver front if you're the Titans.
And that's the thing, especially like with Dobbs, a guy, because anytime a team, like basically lets a guy go, it's like, so why? But in that situation, it's like you have to make some choices if you're them, And I think he's good. I think Pierce is good too. This texture says Pierce in the free agency and Mekhi Lemon in the draft. There's my next hot take right there. Thank you, Texter. Because I'll tell you right now, if the Titans take a receiver, whether they stay where they are, they move down a little bit, whatever it is, Mekhi Lemon is who they should take. If they take him in that spot, then of all the other guys, Jordan Tyson, absolutely Mekhi Lemon is the guy. Mekhi Lemon is, to me, he is going to be JSN. He is going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's the type of player he is, and I think he's flat out the best guy coming out in this draft. So there you go. Offensive tackler Mekhi Lemon.
There you go.
No one else. Thank you.
By the way, Kevin Byard's free agent. Bring him home.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting too. He's been a really nice. I mean, he's
Pro Bowler this year.
It's worked out really well. Yeah. We can't. I can't like.
Who wasn't a Pro Bowler?
Yeah, that thing needs to just go away. But really nice.
He had a good year.
Yeah. Pick up for them. He's a leader for them, as you'd expect. Made a lot of plays. So, hey, man, wouldn't be the worst thing. Hooker and Byard.
That's right. Put them back together.
Why not?
Put them back together. You can identify one name to target this offseason, either via free agency or the draft. Who would that name be? A lot of your thoughts to get to on this. We'll do that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game, taking your thoughts on the Titans at 615-737-1025. You can identify one name to target this offseason, either via free agency or the draft. Who would it be? A lot of different votes on that front. Justin from Greenbrier asking, so you take a receiver or a tackle over an edge rusher, even over Reuben Bain? That could be like the freak for the Titans back in the day.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying if the Titans were to take a receiver there, that would be the only one to me that would be acceptable. I would like if right now, if you give me that pick, I'm taking David Bailey. If he's sitting there, I'm taking David Bailey. So I'm happy, and he's going to be a monster in the NFL. That's what I believe. But I'm saying, we're talking about all these receivers. I think of all these receivers, Mekhi Lemon's going to be the best. Take that for whatever it's worth, which isn't much. But I mean, it's like people when people like act like they know and yell about it, I say, come on, every year, let's go through it. Let's go through receivers.
Well, let's step in. We got some breaking news to get into.
Uh-oh.
So Elliot Friedman has put this out there. The headline, Joe, sources Barry Trotz to step down as Nashville Predators general manager. This is what Elliot Friedman says. According to multiple sources, Barry Trotz will announce Monday he is stepping down as general manager of the Nashville Predators, although he will remain on the job until a successor is found. After a rough start to the 25-26 season, the Predators rallied to within 4 points of a playoff spot as of Sunday night. However, with just days remaining until the Olympic freeze and a month until the trade deadline, the team was also investigating all of its options. Trotz is one of the greatest figures in Nashville hockey history, named as the team's inaugural head coach 1 year before the Predators dropped the puck. Stayed until April 2014 before moving to Washington, winning the Cup in 2018, and the New York Islanders. He became the second GM in team history in 2023, replacing David Poile. More on this story as it develops. But according to Elliot Friedman, Barry Trotz announcing today that he is stepping down as general manager of the Nashville Predators. So your thoughts on that?
So like I was saying, Mekhi Lemon, I really like his shuttle run. Wow. Wow.
More on Mekhi Lemon.
Yeah, so anyway, we're just not used to having news happen when our show is happening, and boy, is that news. How I'm going to turn it back to you.
Yeah.
Is this shocking to you?
That's pretty shocking. Yeah. By the way, the Predators have just put out a statement. So this I'll read from the Predators. Says the Nashville Predators holding a press conference with chairman and majority owner Bill Haslam, general manager Barry Trotz, and CEO Sean Henry on Monday, February the 2nd, today, at 12 o'clock inside Bridgestone Arena. So that is happening today. So it looks like Barry Trotz is indeed stepping down as general manager of the Nashville Predators.
So the Predators are not going to confirm that. They're just going to say they're going to have a press conference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Holy smokes.
Whoa.
I didn't have that one on the bingo card.
No. You in the first few seconds here of absorbing that, I mean, if you're Barry Trotz, like, look, we've been talking about it now for a long time. Like, it hasn't gone well. You made some mistakes, and there's some tough stuff ahead probably for the Nashville Predators to try to get back to being one of the top teams in this league. And if you're him, do you want to go through all that? Like, I get it.
I don't know.
Does this mean that he wants to coach again?
Well, that's kind of where my mind went. First of all, I have no idea. Let me be clear. I have no idea what his plans are. He could be just getting out. I have no idea. But my first thought when I read that is, man, does he want to coach again? And is there?
And that's his comfort zone, man. That's what he's been great at.
Yeah, I don't know. So that one, I mean, I'm sure that will come up today at the press conference. But now, if you're the Predators, what does this mean about where you're going, right? Because you just Barry Trotz has had his plan that he's talked about of trying to thread that needle of remaining competitive while also stockpiling your organization with draft picks and prospects and all those things. And now you're having to go find another general manager. And here's the question beyond that. How does Bill Haslam and Sean Henry want to handle finding another general manager? Are you going to be in-house, which I don't think Predators fans would react very well to? Not that you make your decisions based on what the fans are going to react to. I understand that. But I don't think it would go over very well. Or are you looking outside the organization to bring in another general manager and then going from there?
Look, one thing that we've talked about with with this, as we've talked so much about, and as fans have talked so much about, just the franchise and the way things have gone. It's an incredible story of continuity. It's amazing that they've had really like a lot of the same core people, for pushing 3 decades now, but also like some of the things that they have not been able to figure out have been consistent too. And while I can't sit here and say there isn't someone internally who would be great, this seems like an opportunity to change things up.
I agree.
And to bring in to really look at the NHL right now and who's on the cutting edge, and can you get someone out there? Because again, like their failure to find, identify, develop forwards it's one of the stories of the franchise. It is. It's one of the consistent stories of the franchise that has to change.
Well, and it's also interesting. And again, I have no idea why the timing of this is right now. I don't know if it's because Barry Trotz is trying to get out and go coach. I don't know. Like, I'm not going to sit here and speculate as to why the timing is now when you're talking about, a couple of days away from the Olympic break where this is coming out. But, if you're the Predators, I would assume, there's also a deadline coming up, right? He's operating as the general manager, I would assume, until then, but there is an NHL trading deadline that, I get it, is more than a month away from a calendar standpoint, but we've talked about this a lot. There ain't that many actual games left that you play before the NHL trading deadline comes up. So how does this all influence what goes on there as well?
You get like okay, here you get one last move. It's your call, and then we're moving on.
I don't know.
Remember, we had the transition announced 3 years ago, right?
That is
Poyle traded 3 years ago, and then you sort of had the trading deadline. It was like Trotz and Poyle or whoever. They kind of hand the baton. Wow. And for people who are saying this, there's a lot of both. I mean, obviously, we hope this is not like because of bad health or anything like that. But I would not jump to that conclusion right now.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and I have no idea why this is happening when it's happening. So
one thing is
I'm sure we'll find. One thing we know
Barry
about Barry Trotz is he's pretty open. So I would imagine we'll get a pretty good idea of what this is going to look like later today.
Yeah, Barry Trotz is not going to leave you guessing.
I don't think so.
He's going to lay it all out there today.
Well, and it's interesting too. Like if this is, people are asking if this is like the ownership's finally had enough and they're just ready to move on. Well, if that was the case, like, would you really be keeping him around to be like, hey, you're going to be the general manager until we find somebody else to come in and do your job at that point? Like that doesn't really add up to me. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I hear you, but I guess it's still possible. Like it's still possible that it could be sort of like initiated on that side, and like how can we make this as painless and classy as possible?
Yeah, this is very surprising. So very interested. I will be at the press conference later. We'll be very interested to see what this looks like.
I'm going to come up with 5 questions that I need you to ask.
Okay, you do that. Barry, Mekhi Lemon, your thoughts as a potential slot receiver for the Titans?
Bill, what do you think about fox hunting? Have you ever tried it?
Have you ever been? We know someone you could go with.
Man. Wow.
Yep. So if you are just tuning in, Elliot Friedman putting it out there that Barry Trotz will announce today that he is stepping down as general manager of the Nashville Predators. There's a press conference taking place later this afternoon with Bill Haslam, Barry Trotz, and Sean Henry. So we will take your reaction to that at 615-737-1025, our phone number, 615-737-1025, Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Final segment of the day, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Elliot Friedman putting it out there that according to multiple sources on his front, Barry Trotz will announce today that he is stepping down as general manager of the Nashville Predators, and he will remain on the job until a successor is found. Predators are holding a press conference at noon today with owner Bill Haslam. Barry Trotz will be a part of it, obviously, and then Sean Henry will be at the press conference as well. So that coming up later today at 12 o'clock.
Tons of people throwing out their theories on this, such as ownership wanted to fire Burnett, Trotz wouldn't. So there you go. Ownership wanted to trade, not trade, Trotz wouldn't. There you go. What else have we got here? We've got ownership. A lot of ownership wanted Trotz to do something. Trotz refused. So this is what's happening. To your point,
that doesn't really make a lot of sense when you think about it.
I think if any of those things were true, then Trotz probably just says, "Okay, I'm going to go and
or he just gets
see
fired
you later." Yeah, he gets
like
fired.
this is. I mean, Friedman's saying he's stepping down and he's remaining on the job until they find a successor.
Which probably
my guess is if it was some spat between ownership and him, that they'd probably just fire him and they wouldn't be keeping him on the job until they go find somebody else.
And then you'd have, the statement to come out, "Hey, we so much appreciate Barry for all his blah, 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 blah." Yeah, like they're going to have a press conference together today. So, I mean, I guess, you could throw that to your five. I'm still devising your 5 questions.
Thank you.
That I have for you. But, I think that the most likely scenario, I know it's not as fun to think of things like this as opposed to like what kind of conflict must have led to this, but it's probably that he wants to be done being a general manager.
Yeah, we'll see.
Independently on his own.
We will see. Coming up at 12 o'clock. Let's head to our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in Tim to the program. Tim, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Hey, guys, enjoy the show.
Thank you, sir.
Now, could this press conference today be a hiring, a firing, and a stepping down?
What do you mean? Just like
we fire Andrew, Barry steps down, and we hire Barry's head coach.
Maybe.
Well, that'd be something.
That sure would.
Well, I would like Barry's head coach.
I think a lot of people would like Barry as a head coach. That's an interesting thought, Tim.
I would take that in heart, and thanks a lot, guys. Bye.
Yeah, thank you, Tim. I don't think that's it. I would be pretty surprised if they were like, Barry Trotz is stepping down as Nashville Predators GM.
And stepping up
By the
as
way,
coach.
We've canned Andrew Burnett, and Barry Trotz is the head coach.
And then Nick Saban comes
Nick
out,
Saban
like chest
kicks
bumps
open
him.
the door.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get things done around here for a few weeks, and we finally done it.
Someone did, by the way, throw in the Nick Saban theory, too, that he's going to become the GM. So,
well, I mean, he is a part of the organization now.
He's good at evaluating talent.
Who knows what kind of talent.
And paying talent, too.
He does.
They do pay talent in the NHL.
They do. Yeah, I mean, this is very surprising. I mean, again, we'll see what Barry Trotz has to say about this coming up at 12 o'clock. But now, all of a sudden, you're a couple of weeks away. Well, number one, you're a week away from the Olympic break. And then after that, it's right into trade deadline and playoff push and all that stuff. So in the short term of it, with the Predators, you got to figure out how you're going to handle the deadline here. I mean, you're looking at the standings. They did get a nice win over the weekend against the Islanders after falling down 2-0 in that game. They are at the moment 4 points out of a playoff spot. So you're 4 points back of that second wild card spot. And there's all those same teams that we've talked about for weeks that are kind of jumbled up there together. So what do you do now? Like if Trotz, I would assume at this point, I would assume that he's probably going to be here through the end of the deadline. I don't know that. I know that there's more than a month before that takes place. So I guess during the Olympic break, you could really get busy hiring a general manager, I guess, if you're the Nashville Predators. But if let's assume that this takes a little bit, what does Barry Trotz do at the deadline? What does ownership want to do from here? Because to me, like that's where this kind of starts now, right? Of you're going out and it's Bill Haslam, it's Sean Henry. Like what do those guys want to do moving forward here as they're looking for another general manager? You're 4 points out of a playoff spot, and you're trying to determine now where you're going as a franchise.
If he just goes on an absolute buying spree, just loads up for a run.
Wow. The Predators just acquired Artemi Panarin. It's amazing.
Bread man to Nashville.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and look, if it is, again, this is total speculation. I have no idea why this is happening. If it is coaching, I'm interested to see that. Like, it's probably not going to be here.
No.
So
because he wouldn't do that to Brunette.
No.
And also, if you're Barry Trotz at 63, I mean, if you're going to take another coaching job, you're going to take a coaching job of a team that can contend, right?
Correct. Yeah. Well, look, if Barry Trotz went on the market right now as a head coach, there'd be a lot of interest in Barry Trotz as a head coach.
Absolutely.
So, again, I have no idea if that's this or not, but I would assume we're going to find out in more detail at 12 o'clock today. But in the meantime, if you're the Predators, now you can add general manager search to your list of priorities here. So you got to figure that out. And again, it's going to be very interesting. As we know, I mean, there's only been 2 general managers in the history of the franchise, David Poile and Barry Trotz. So you've never, as you've existed as an organization, you have never really had to go outside the organization. Like, I guess Barry Trotz at the time was, quote, outside the organization, but that doesn't count. I mean, he'd been here forever.
Yeah.
And so
knew everybody in the building.
Right. So what do they do now? Are they going to look around and say, we really like Scott Nickel, or we really like Jeff Kelty, or we really like Brian Poile, or are they going to look around the rest of the league and go bring in somebody from the outside that is not within that, for lack of a better term, Predators bloodline that we've seen, that has been a lot of the same people for a long time in this organization?
Yeah, and no knock against any of those possible candidates. However it comes about, this is an opportunity to shake things up and bring in some fresh eyes. And I think that's a critical outcome here that has to happen.
That would be the way that I would go. I mean, that's probably how I would handle it. But the bottom line is, number one, there's not much evidence in the history of the organization to determine whether or not what they're going to do here. And Bill Haslam, he's a total wild card in this. I have no idea. Like, I mean, Bill Haslam was coming into the fold when they brought in Barry Trotz and they brought in Andrew Brunette, but now he's officially the guy. So this is like the first big thing that's going to happen while he's officially the guy. So I'm very interested to see what his approach is in this.
Yeah. Been very interested to hear what he has to say about this.
He is apparently participating in the press conference, so that's good.
Yeah, no, it is good. It's nice to have an owner of a local professional team speak.
Yes.
It's kind of a good idea.
It
is.
is.
And then, not saying that to anybody in particular, just saying.
It is.
One of my things I do want you to do today, of your 5 questions, I do want you to ask Sean Henry a little bit about the music at Bridgestone, but also praise him for the Molson Labatt ads in the concessions.
Okay, I'll try to work that.
That's
in there.
number 5. That's down the list
All
a little
right.
bit, but I just, if Sean Henry's going to, then
I'll try to work that in there today.
Thank you.
Let's see how it goes. Yeah, I mean, obviously, the Preds have a game tonight too. By the way, they play the St. Louis Blues tonight in the second to last home game before the Olympic break coming up. So there is a game tonight.
So there's morning skate today.
There's morning skate today. Interested to see how that goes. See if there's anybody out there
making new. Yeah,
it's like, wow, there's no one here. They all just decided to skip out today. Wow.
How about that?
I mean, look, this is a weird year. They've been playing basically every day, so there hadn't been a whole lot of time for practices or skates.
This would be a day I'd like to hear from a lot of people, including them.
I would. We'll see how that goes. Barry Trotz, according to Elliot Friedman, expected to step down today as general manager of the Nashville Predators. We will have full reaction to that tomorrow. We will react to his press conference later today, and we'll have you covered all day long on 102.5 The Game.
And no, DJ from Nashville, Brennan did not break this one from the classroom.
Yes.
This was Elliot Friedman.
According to Brendan Rexrode from Michigan State. Next Man Up with Jake Lyman is coming up next. You're listening to 102.5 The Game.